All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and citations to the elect. This is Brother Lawyer from Great Millstone, Miami. And the topic I want to go into in this lesson is how the Lord is going to lift up a standard in these times for his elect. Okay. All right. We know and understand according to prophecy that Esau is coming down with great wrath, knowing that he hath but a short time. Okay. All right. And so understanding that he is, his time is short and his time is up. He's going to come down upon the Lord's people, in a unrighteous temper tantrum, man. All right. And it's going to be focused mainly towards those who fear the Lord, those who have made their body a living sacrifice to serve and seek Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. But the Lord has promised protection. All right. Even though we do know that there will be martyrs in the times to come. OK. All right. We believe through faith and, in the prophecies that the Lord is going to defend us. OK, which is in multiple parts of the scriptures, man. So that's what I want to go into in this lesson, man. Just, to bring it out, man, and just continue to put that vibration out there of faith, man, and expecting miracles and looking forward to what what the Lord has promised for us, man. All right. This time that we're in. OK, I'm trying to get out of the habit, still trying to get out of the habit saying coming into, but in, we have a greater hope than the people in the world. Okay. All right. We have a greater hope of blessings and provision and protection and favor from the Lord, that the Lord has for us, that the Lord has not promised for the people of the world. Okay. The scriptures say, that the Lord will keep us in our temptation. All right. So that's what we're banking on. That's what we're hanging our hat on, so to speak. Right. So, that's what I want to go into in this lesson. Lord willing, is edifying to the elect. OK, it says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, sword, famine, death, and destruction, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Therefore, saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. All right, so the Lord hears the righteous cry of the hopeful elect for vengeance, man. And those cries are going to get a lot louder and a lot more persistent as we continue to go down this road of Jacob's trouble, which we are in. Okay. All right. And, as Esau comes down with great wrath and, there may, potentially be situations of martyrs, which we know scripturally that's going to happen. All right. Which if that does happen to any believer, hey, we know that they're going to be risen up first with Yahweh Shai and live and reign with him for 1,000 years. OK. All right. But as these things begin to happen. OK. All right. The cries for vengeance are going to get louder and go up into the heavens as incense before the Lord's altar, man. And he's going to act. OK. That's why it says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. So, when you read the Exodus story, all right, it talks about how the children of Israel cried for reason of the bondage and for their taskmasters that were afflicted them, man. All right. And the Lord, had respect unto them. All right. And that's when the Lord started to act, man, and get down, by bringing those plagues and those judgments. OK, so understanding that, and likening it unto the times that we're in. OK, as Esau comes down with great wrath and much affliction upon the Lord's people, specifically the elect, the Lord is going to start working miracles, man, and lifting up that standard and bringing those judgments. All right, in a greater fashion than he did even in ancient Egypt. OK, all right, this is verse 11. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. And will destroy all the land thereof, man. So before the Lord destroys this place, he going to really get down, man. All right, it's going to be all kind of judgments, all kind of plagues and miracles taking place, man. That's part of the Lord lifting up the standard too. Okay. All right. And it could come in the form of spiritual power for certain brothers, angels, the chariots getting up close and personal with Esau's military, all types of things can happen, man. So, and will happen. All right. So, we have to look forward to that, man. OK. All right. Second Ezra chapter 15. I'm sorry, 16. All right, because it goes down into it, towards the end of the chapter. Okay, this is Second Ezra 16 and verse 67. It says, "Behold, God Himself is the judge. Fear Him. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall God lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble." All right. So repent and turn to the Lord, man. And may the Lord deliver us, from the troubles to come. Okay. All right. Because He's the one that's bringing the troubles. All right. And so He's the one that's capable of delivering us from it. All right. The Lord's the one that brought the flood upon the world. And He's the one who delivered Noah from it. Okay. But it was through Noah's obedience that, that allowed him to be spared and preserved from the destruction that came upon the world at that time, along with his family. Okay, it says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols." Okay, "and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot." So they're going to come down with a great wrath, man. Okay, all right, putting people in concentration camps, putting brothers in concentration camps, trying to force you to denounce your faith and whatever, whatever madness they come with. Okay. And we are not to consent unto them, man. Okay. Because the Lord is getting ready to have this man in derision, man, and in reproach. So we don't want to go down with him. Okay. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall it be known whom are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire." Okay. So the Lord is going to show His power, show that He's with, his elect at that time. All right. Now, will there be righteous casualties at that time? Because we are in a spiritual war that's getting ready to turn physical, and when I mean physical, I don't mean that we're going to be doing, getting carnal. No, the carnal enemy is going to get carnal with us. Okay. So yeah, you're going to have righteous casualties where you have certain believers that are martyrs and etc. Okay. But the Lord is going to show that His presence is among us at that time by lifting up a standard. Okay. It says, "Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves." Okay, so we just have to remain obedient and be faithful. All right, now will fear come and doubt sometimes creep in? Yeah, but the Lord doesn't want us to dwell in that spirit, man. Okay, and if that spirit comes around, you got to pray to the Lord, man. Okay. Because the Lord is nigh, man. The Lord's ear is open. Okay. To the cries of the righteous, man. As long as you're honest and you cast your burden upon the Lord, He will sustain you. Okay. All right. He'll show you that He's with you. All right. So this is Isaiah 59 and verse 14. It says, "And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter." All right, which is the state of the world that we live in, man. There is no justice for the righteous. All right, you speak truth, and you're a target. Okay, it says, "Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey," man. So we are and will be continue to be targeted on higher levels, man. I was watching the brother Micah Allah from Dallas, man. He did a wonderful lesson, recently, man. We're in the times where we're not even going to be able to just go out to camp and tell these devils, that they're going into slavery and that this kingdom of this world is going to go up in flames, okay, without them doing anything about it. Okay. All right. It's about to get up close and personal, right? But we got the Lord on our side, though. Okay. And it says, "And the Lord saw it, and it displeased Him that there was no judgment." Okay. So the Lord sees that we have our backs against the wall and that no one is going to defend us, man. Okay. It says, and he saw that there was no man and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore, his arm brought salvation to him, and his righteousness is sustained him, which the arm of the Lord is Yahushai. And Yahushai commands all of the holy host of heaven. Okay, so the Lord is going to even send the angels on our behalf to defend us. All right, it says, for he put on righteousness as a breastplate and a helmet of salvation upon his head. And he put on the garments of vengeance for clothing and was clad with zeal as with a cloak. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay. Fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the islands he will repay recompense. So the Lord is going to fight. He's going to wage war on our behalf. Okay. All right, to recompense them for the evils that they've wrought on, to the Lord's people, man. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Okay, so they're going to come in like a flood. They're going to be as madmen in every place, All right. And the Lord's going to step in and with that defense, man, with that standard. Okay. Isaiah 31. Okay. And verse 3, it says, now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. Okay, so the Lord's army is of spiritual power, man. The army of Esau and these heathens and their military might and Palantir and robots, AI, that's all of the flesh. All right, it says they shall all fail together. For thus hath the Lord spoken unto me, like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey, when a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and for the hill thereof. So the Lord's going to fight for his people, man. Okay, the same way a lion, when he's, getting ready to descend on his prey, and you got a bunch of shepherds coming up against him, the lion ain't scared. He don't back down. All right, the Lord's not going to back down. The Lord's coming with that work for these heathens, man. Okay. It says, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. Okay, so the Lord's going to fight and defend his people with the chariots and the angels. That's why it says, as birds flying, those chariots are going to come in formation with the angels, of course, directing those vehicles through the power of the Lord to defend his people, man. And they're going to fight for us, man. Okay, that's why it says in Daniel, the 12th chapter, okay, this Daniel 12:1, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. All right, so the angels will come in to defend the Lord's people. Okay. All right, they're going to step in to fight for us and to deliver those who are written in the book of life, which is the elect, man. Okay, that's why it's important that we stay in the secret place of the Most High, abide in the shadow of the Almighty. Stick with this truth, man, because it's about to get real out here, man. It's about to get very real, man. All right, these gas prices just the beginning. We ain't seen shit. Okay, it's gonna be invading one another. All wars happening on the street you live on, potentially, man. Civil wars. You're gonna hear bombs blowing up outside and shit. Famines taking place. Esau coming in with those troops, man. It's gonna get real, man. Like Samak always says, Operation Garden Plot, Rex 84, King Alfred Plan. Jade Helm, like it's true, man. They have these things on the book, man. And they are ready and willing to use their power and wickedness to oppress and shed blood. All right. So we're going to need a defense. We're going to need protection. All right. So, that's basically it. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't really got much more to go into. You know, I could bring out more precepts, but I think the point has been made, man. Just continue to trust in the Lord, man. The Lord got us. You know, we almost out of here, man. And it's going to get very, very exciting, too. You know, with all, you know, this chaos that we see happening. It's already exciting, but it's about to get even more exciting, you know. And so, yeah, man, you know, the Lord, you know, kind of got us in the driver's seat, you know, as far as the things that are going on, you know, because we've been saying these things for years, and it's actually playing out, and we actually have the proper insight and perspective of what's going on, you know, and we have hope along with that as well. So, you know, all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man, and just keep the faith, man, you know, trust in the Lord, call upon his name, and, you know, remain obedient. You know, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakadash, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and citations to the elect. Shalom.